guys, Larry Vela here. I'm here with AdamHarry.
Hey everyone.
And here it is. Ta-da!
Now we said we were gonna show this off earlier. We already did our unboxing for the core box set Dark Imperium. We said we were gonna come back and do the rulebook. Here we are.
There we go. And what a mighty tome it is. First of all, something that we've never seen before, which is it's a hardcover. Okay, they have done that before, but it's a hardcover in the box set.
In the box set, which is new.
Which is very, very cool. So doesn't matter whether you buy the box set or not, or whether eventually this is going to be sold independently. I'm sure it will.
Probably.
I'm sure it will.
Probably. We do want to make one quick note. We're not going to go page by page through this thing, so if that's what you're expecting, sorry. Like, we're just not going to do that.
I'm sorry. Put on your, put on your cap of disappointment.
But we are going to show off some really cool stuff that we think is important. We're going to go over some facts and figures about the book, too. Yeah, let's go take a look.
All right, so, ta-da! Let's give you some basics. It's hardcover. Warhammer 40,000. This is 8th edition. It's brand new.
Very new.
And
280 pages.
280 pages.
Ooh.
We take a quick note. We turn around and we honor its forebearer, Rogue Trader.
That's right.
Rogue Trader judges. It judges. it judges the newcomer.
Yes.
So
absolutely.
So,
but it's 280 pages. At about 168 is where the rules are going to be. So there's 168 pages of background.
Exactly. The vast majority of this book, almost 2/3 of this book, is phenomenal artwork and an introduction to the entire 40K universe, just like we've seen in some of, I mean, over the various editions, we've seen the size of the Warhammer 40,000 core rulebook has kind of its waxed and waned.
Yeah.
Like
we've seen it split into 3 books.
We've seen a
couple times.
Exactly. In 7th edition, it was in 3 books. Before that, in 6th, it was that super giant monster tome that was like 500 pages. It was crazy. So this one is about half the size, but this is a book that is designed for people who don't know anything about.
You're a brand new player.
Right. You need this book. So obviously, the first 170 pages of the 280 have nothing to do. The rules start on page 168.
But it's all your background stuff. Let's go ahead and open it up and take a look.
We're going to get us started. We'll just pick a random one, and we'll see what we got here.
Black Templars. There's tons of amazing art in this book. Just all over the place. This is a cool one of the Black Templars fighting against a bloodletter, Khorne.
Yeah, and the artwork is new. There's, of course, as you would expect,
stuff.
There's a decent amount of reused artwork, but there's a lot of pretty awesome new stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Really, quick note, just like, as an example, when Age of Sigmar came out, everyone said, wow, there's like these Stormcasts that came out of nowhere. They're everywhere. There's not a lot of artwork of old Marines in this book. Pretty much if there's artwork, it's almost all Primaris Marines, and even in the photography, it's almost all.
A lot of the photography, it's a lot of new stuff. So
they call them out
stuff.
That all the existing Marines are still there. They're like in some of the diagrams, but you know, you should expect a lot more of this kind of stuff.
Boom.
Death Guard.
Awesome.
Fighting Primaris Marines.
Full 2-page spread art things in there and all over the place. It's great.
Table of contents.
Yep.
Kind of go over this briefly. Like we said, we have our 160 pages.
Yep. So again, it's going to go over each one of the factions, the major factions. You've got the Imperium of Man, the armies of the Imperium, Forces of Chaos, Xenos, the Eternity of War. So it's kind of the whole background setting type stuff here. So, and it is bunched up logically. So you've got, again, the Imperium of Man is going to cover your High Lords of Terra, all of that fun background, all that good stuff. The Armies of the Imperium is going to talk about the Adeptus Astartes, the Space Marines. That's going to talk about the I call them Imperial Guard still.
Astra Militarum.
Thank you.
Adeptus
Mechanicus, all those fun guys. And then we're going to get over to Forces of Chaos. It's going to talk about Chaos Marines, Chaos Demons, etc. Xenos. This is where they bundled up a lot of the other stuff. You know, Eldar, Dark Eldar, Eldari.
And the Inari. So the Eldar Harlequins. There's basically 4 factions now to the Eldar race.
Tau, Orcs, Necrons, Tyranids. So you get the idea. And then, of course, the Eternity of War talks about the different war zones that are going to be kind of the focal point.
And a lot of these are new. So these are places we haven't visited before. So I mean, we don't know anything for sure, but I would assume that these are basically them laying the seeds for probably some of the campaigns and things that they're gonna. These are
like a summer campaign or something. I don't know.
Yeah, these are things that they will almost certainly address as we proceed through 8th edition in the years ahead. And then over here, page 168, this is where you hit the actual rules.
Right.
And what we're talking about here is, you know, so you're going to go from 168 to the advanced rules, start on page 230. 236. So you have approximately 70 pages in here, and as we saw in the General's Handbook, it's basically broken down by the 3 modes of play. That is the Games Workshop's kind of new philosophy for playing their games. You have open play with how that works. That's just kind of grab a bunch of your models, meet up at a store, hang out with your buddies, throw them together, have some
use
fun.
the power level points to equal out stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Throw some dice around. You're there to have fun. Yeah. Cool. Narrative play. There's really cool battle I read about in this Black Library book, and let's do it. And we're gonna have all my cool, crazy terrain. Let's make a bunch of special rules. We give you guidelines for how to do that. And then the final section, of course, is matched play, and that's the
bread and butter. Let's be honest.
That's the gaming, the serious business, and
that's the points, and that's the the serious business stuff.
And you get missions and how to structure that, and how that'll work. And what I really like about it is that while this section is in here, it's not like it gets the majority of attention. They definitely They definitely put a serious amount of missions and page count.
What's the total on those missions? Was it like 20 something?
There's 22 missions.
22 missions
in this across the 3 different types of play. So in that 70 pages, the vast majority of those 70 pages of the standard rule set are missions. So it's like, you go into
Maelstrom missions is a huge chunk of that too.
So there's
of those advanced rules.
There's between 3 and 6 missions per category of play, and then a few bonus ones thrown in there too. All that is in there.
Yeah.
We'll get to it.
And we'll show off some of them, but again, we're not going to go page by page. So
then you're going to get into the advanced rules. The advanced rules start on page 236, and they take you pretty much out to the. I mean, there's like a couple little pages of the appendix.
That type of stuff is like your how to build a Battleforged army. Your attachments, how those work, command points,
rules for terrain, how to do weird stuff like multiplayer games, like all kind of the miscellaneous odds and ends for doing oddball stuff, and all those rules. They're all completely optional, so it's just extra
the
stuff.
Battleforged. If you're gonna play match play,
that's true.
Yeah, the command points. I don't think that's what I consider optional. So
well, it depends on your mode of play.
Yeah, that is true.
Like you wouldn't have to use any of that stuff if you're playing in, say, open or narrative.
Right, you wouldn't have to. But it's more fun.
Yeah.
So anyway, let's keep going here.
Anyway, so that's kind of in a nutshell. That takes you to the very end. There's like a really tiny appendix at the back. That's that super 2-point legal font where they just talk about.
If you're just looking for a specific a character, you want to find out characters. Where's characters at?
Well, that has all the weird random stuff. Like here's how warp travel works, and here's how you if you get shot by a laser gun. Here's how you patch yourself up, and squats. Squats are in here.
Oh, you're talking about the other appendix. Yeah, I'm talking about the index. Sorry, there's an index at the very, very end.
That's different.
Yeah, a little different.
Okay, so we're gonna randomly kind of take you through this in chunks, show you different examples. Hey,
Dark Millennium.
Dark Millennium. I bet this is this is the section that's all about where things are full of light and glitter.
Yeah,
it's all nice.
It's happy fun times here. It's all sunshine and rainbows. No,
not at all. There we go. Actually, this is a page. I'm going to go back one and show you this because it's very, very cool. Hold that open. This is a particularly cool chart. So what we have here is pure background. There's no real we're more than 100 pages out from rules. But what we have over here is there's a lot of cool artwork. So we have this really neat chart here that shows you all of the organizations of the Imperium and kind of how they orbit each other. So
literally orbiting.
Yeah, right in the center you have the Emperor, and then it's and then the ones that are kind of orbiting around him. These are the people who report directly to him or that are the most politically important in the Imperium.
Right.
And then you get each of those guys maybe have people who orbit around them. So you go from the most important organizations to kind of
the inner circle to the outer circle.
Way kind of out on the fringes. You have road traders and all kinds of craziness out there. But then over here, on the next two pages, you get all of the important organizations of the Imperium.
There's one that you kind of really like, right?
I do. There's this really interesting. So normally in previous editions, when they have these, it's normally just text. Right?
Yeah,
it's oh, here's the High Lords of Terra, here's a big list of them, whatever.
Yeah.
But a lot of stuff has happened since 7th edition. There's so many new armies, right? So we got Death Watch, and we got Adeptus Custodes, and we got Sisters of Silence.
Singular Cults.
Right, we have all these things, and Adeptus Mechanicus. So there's a lot more Imperial organizations now that didn't exist back when the 7th edition rulebook came out, and all of those, so everyone who has an army is in this chart. Now there's a few guys who obviously are non-combatants, like
the Adeptus Administrator,
like the Imperial fleet.
Yeah.
Although, hey, they're combatants if you're playing Battlefield Gothic. But I think
on the ground combatants.
But I think it's particularly interesting that they do go out of their way to show, maybe for the first time, the official logo. Where is it?
Right there.
There's the logo and a whole section in here on the Adeptus Arbites and what they're like.
The beat cops of the Imperium.
And it's one of those things where I'm not saying anything's gonna happen. I'm just saying, yeah, I'm just gonna be like, if I could just like pass, hey, Games Workshop community marketing guys, if I could pass you guys a couple $100.
Yep. Give me my Judge Dredd army.
I want my Judge Dredd army.
Yeah. Keep going.
keep it going. All right, moving along. You know, all the basic stuff. How warp transport works, how the Navy works, all the stuff you expect.
And again, this is all designed for folks who have never experienced what it is to be in the grimdark universe of 40K.
We have a section on Hope Rekindled. This is this section
wraps up the Gathering Storm.
Exactly. Yeah. So this book is the current state of 40K. It brings you all the way up through all the events that went through 7. So Gaiman is back. It talks about it. You do get a couple pages in here specifically on the Horse Heresy, where they do specifically talk about it. And there's actually a decent little spread of pages of the very early history that predates the Imperium. So they go through the whole thing.
Yeah.
Which is really, really cool.
If you've never heard of 40K, this book will take you through the very, very beginnings all the way to the current state of the game.
Yep.
So, and it's great that they haven't hit the reset button like we've seen in so many other editions where it's like, all that Gathering Storm stuff that just happened, yeah, we're going to start over and Gaiman's gone and there's no. We're gonna keep going from where we left off.
It's all there. So, talking about factions, as we said, there's going to be lots of color plates. Probably half. There's at least 80, maybe more pages that are going over all the factions.
Yeah.
As we've seen in every edition, they all get good attention. They all get their little section. It tells you what they are. You get artwork on them. You get, and in some cases, you get all these really nice how to paint your
color
army.
palettes. Yeah.
We're looking at the Space Marine section here because this is a section that does specifically have a lot of Primaris Marines in it. But they do go out of their way to say, oh yeah, like, you know, there's these old-fashioned dudes here called normal Space Marines. And a lot of chapters, most Marines are still these guys, but these guys are the future.
Yeah.
And you get all of the, and then you get examples of Primaris Marines.
Oh yeah, from the different chapters.
In the different chapters, including, I think they keep showing, there's like, I can't tell exactly which ones there are, but there's 3 guys in here who they keep showing over and over and over again.
As like these guys.
As examples of new founding chapters. That
from
are,
the Ultima founding.
That are all Primaris Marines.
Primaris.
So I think that, you know...
Are we going to get some new poster boys?
I think we are. Maybe. And hopefully we'll get some decals for them. Because I don't want to paint those crazy logos.
I don't like them anyway.
Right. You get all the basics. You know, you get your little section on all the various...
Again, the big chapters, Blood Angels, Dark Angels, Space Wolves, who am I forgetting? Imperial Fist. All of the core founding chapters. Death Watch are in here?
No. Oh, yes, they are.
But the big founding chapters, they're all still around. So Space Wolves, you're even though Fender System's jacked, you're still here, okay? You
get fantastic, as usual, Normal Games Workshop, really, really large color plates of just all their crazy things. And I would just like to know, hey, look, these are Imperial Fists, and these are Raven Guard, and these are Salamanders, and every last Marine in all these pictures, they're Primaris Marines.
Pretty much all Primaris Marines.
Now they're beating the crap out of old Chaos Marines.
As they should, right?
But yeah, just
especially those terrible Death Guard.
I'm gonna. There's a lot of reading between the lines in this book.
Just saying.
Hashtag foreshadowing.
Just
putting that out there. Different factions. Chaos Space Marines.
Here's where we get to the Chaos Marines.
Interesting. While we all know as big giant 40K fanatics that there's all the different Traitor Legions and they're all there, the book goes out of its way and gives special attention specifically to the Death Guard and the Thousand Sons.
I wonder why.
And then everyone else is just like, and there's a bunch of.
And then there's Renegades.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. It does mention. I do want to mention. It does mention all 4 Chaos Gods.
Correct.
So Slaanesh still got a chance.
Totally.
Fingers crossed.
Totally still in there.
Tentacles crossed. Whatever's crossed.
Absolutely pictures of Slaanesh demons.
And still there. Still hanging there. Yep. Missing in action since what 2005, maybe early. I'm just kidding, but.
4 Age of Sigmar.
Well,
totally here the whole time.
Totally here. That's where they went. Anyway,
moving on. The Xenos threat. Here we go. Fantastic. Yeah. Maybe one of my favorite pictures. It's all the bad people.
All the bad guys. All the Xenos.
You love the Empire. You should kill all these people.
That's right. Burn them.
Right. You get craft
Purge them with fire.
You get craft worlds.
Which I love this art piece, by the way. You actually get to look, again, craft worlds, not planets, giant spaceships.
Right.
Yeah. So, if you've never experienced or played 40K and you're like, oh yeah, the Eldar live on craft worlds, you're probably thinking like, what, like a board cube or something? No, it's a spaceship.
It's all still there.
Yeah,
all the basic stuff. Hey, it's the Eldari.
Yep. Add them vowels.
Just remember, folks, for you guys playing the home game, A on the front, I at the end.
Boom. Yep. And then they have their different craft worlds here as well.
Yep, all the basic ones, they're all still there.
Even Viltan.
Yep.
They're still around, even though they got fractured.
Mm-hmm. Yep. You get the Drakari. That's the new
Dark Eldar.
The new name.
Yep. They're still around.
Makes me think of Game of Thrones whenever I say that.
Dothraki.
Drakari.
Drakari.
And then someone needs.
I mean, they're kind of they're space raiders, and they don't wear a lot of clothes.
There we go.
Tau Empire. Tau.
The Tau Empire.
Tau.
The comma.
That's the sound they make when you punch them in the face.
I think that's technically called a glottal stuff. Whatever. Maybe. Okay, flipping past it again. Tons.
This is
tons
Tyranids.
This is the Xenos crazy artwork. Crazy battle scenes. Again.
And there's orcs in there too. Orcs, Tyranids,
they're all in
there. Everybody's still in there. Nobody's squatted.
Right. And then at the very end of the background section, as AdamHarry had said, we do have this section which is very, very cool. And this is these are the kinds of things that we used to see like way back in the day when they would do codexes like the global campaign codexes, like the Armageddon Codex or I Have Terror.
Chaos.
So you're getting lots of these things where they're saying, here's an important war zone, and then we made these cool maps, and then they give you these big lists of all the combatants. So these are all the Imperial forces and all the Chaos forces, and there's some weird stuff in there if you read like carefully. Like
read
there's
between the lines,
like there's stuff in there. You're like, okay, that makes sense. I can make that. Then you're like, wait, I don't have those minutes. They don't make.
They don't make those yet.
They don't make those miniatures. What's up with that?
What are those?
Yeah, I think. Knowing Games Workshop loves to drop Easter eggs. So
there's lots of Easter eggs in this.
So
in the
these
section.
pages, and there's a bunch of these. So as an example, there's.
Now they could just be red herrings.
Right. They do that too.
They do that too.
2nd and 11th Legion.
Yep.
Who the heck knows?
Who are they? But hey, they're around.
So you get a lot of them with lots of these charts, lots of fun stuff.
And again, these are all just different battle zones that you can, if you're going to want to do narrative games or open play games or something, you want to have a theme force or theme battle or a themed war zone if you're playing it like a home campaign. You can pick any of these. And just go to town. Go nuts.
Any group of gamers can totally just be like, we don't have anything to do this
Let's
summer.
play the Blood Crusade.
Right, and then you have these two things that'll give you ideas of like what types of army lists you could do that would be narrative.
Right.
And have fun with it.
Yeah, which I love playing narrative games. They're a ton of fun. So
moving on.
We're gonna get
here we go. We have finally hit it.
Oh, here it is.
There is only war. We have reached page 168.
Again,
now we have the rules.
All of this whole section, lore, background, good times.
And all of this section, actually playing the game.
Now, can we, let's turn to the first page of rules.
Okay, so we're going to take a little quick aside here, because we want to, how to play the game.
Playing, open play, narrative play, go in there.
People.
Yep.
Playing.
From the web team.
Right, from the web team, right. They talk to you like, what is narrative play, what is open play, what is match play. Look, those are people at a tournament.
The series, see the faces?
Yep, they're all
laser focus.
Bald.
Yep.
Okay. Right, what are data sheets, all
it
the
just tells
stuff.
you how to read the read the rules.
So we're going to start here, core rules, and this is where we're going to stop. Really quickly, because everyone has seen that the core rule book, the box set comes with this guy.
No, you hold the... Yeah.
I'm doing it.
Take that.
I'll take that. Got it? Pull it up, There we go. You can do it. Okay, so now we're going to flip it over, because we're awesome. It is upside down. It's okay.
But there are 8 pages.
8 pages. And one of the big questions has been, are these actually the rules, or is this just like the summary chart of like the real rules that are in the rule book? These are the real rules. So here's an example.
Core rules.
Core rules.
Core rules.
Core rules. Movement phase.
Movement phase.
Movement phase. These pages are just literally scaled down.
Yep.
So the 8 pages that are in your little handy dandy pamphlet that you can get
probably at your favorite local game store.
Yeah, wherever.
All of these rules are the actual core game rules.
Yeah, that is the game.
This is it.
That is it. 8 pages. That is absolutely it. And that is what the core rules are.
Go through. Yeah.
Yeah, we're not going to show you all of them because it's those.
It's those.
So those 8 pages, that's it.
All of this other stuff is just
right.
Yeah.
Go over here. Right. I mean, you get fancy stuff. Like they use pages being like, okay, now that you've seen the 8 pages, here's an example turn.
Yeah, here's an example turn.
Right, and it takes you through the whole thing. Here's how you move.
Here's moving, shooting, assaulting, psychic.
Right, and you get all the examples to kind of get you through, and then almost all, as I said, of the rest of the rules. So from page 168 to page 236, almost all of that is simply going over what is open play. Here's some missions for it. What is narrative play? Here's an example.
Flip to a couple real quick.
Here's an example of a narrative mission. So here is an example.
So only wars.
Here's negative. So here, narrative play, and it tells you what narrative play is.
How to do narrative play.
And then they give you, there's an example.
The meat grinder.
Right, and here's something that's cool in narrative.
It gives you command points, specials for that specific narrative mission.
And there'll be like different special rules that are just for narrative play.
So narrative, a lot of times too, you'll have like attacker defender type scenarios.
Exactly.
So it's just different.
Yeah, things that don't necessarily wouldn't work in match play.
Right, and a lot of the stuff too though can actually work in layers. So if you want to play a super serious match play game, but you don't want to play just a standard mission, you can layer those missions and these type of scenarios on top of your standard games just to change it up. Or you can just not use any of them and just play like pitch battle. I deploy on my side, you deploy on yours, 2,000 points, go.
Yep. So we're going to flip forward a little bit more. Let's go take a look at what's over here. There's the rescue, classic mission. So, another one. And as we said, 22 missions in this section.
Tons of missions here.
Well over half of the 70 pages are missions, because there's 22 different missions, but a lot of these missions, like this is one mission where, it takes
has
a
unique deployment
pages.
zone, has a unique command points and stratagems you can spend on, things like that.
So they take their time. So that's what, so when you say, oh, well, the rules are 70 pages, they're really not. The rules are those 8 pages, and then there's a bunch of missions.
The actual core rules to the game that's it.
Yeah.
There's also a section in here that goes over, can we get to the advanced rules real quick?
That's where I'm going.
The advanced rules have your Battleforge stuff and your data sheets, how to read data sheets.
Right here.
Yeah.
We have now reached page 236 of the 280, so we're and pretty much the last 40 pages are the advanced rules.
You also have stuff like your standards are like the relic. That's a classic.
Oh, yeah.
So if you're playing match play, those are the type of missions. Yeah, the advanced rules here. Open this one up. We're gonna get to the battle. I want to show just real quick the Battleforged force org charts and stuff like that. So when you build a Battleforged army, this explains how to do that, and then it also talks about one more page over. It's going to talk about your sample detachments.
And there's a lot of these.
There are a lot of
there are more pages of these, and there's lots of deployments and all kinds of stuff. Yeah. So what's really in this section? The advanced rules has how you build Battleforged armies. It has how you do detachments. You also get the rules in here. Let me show you this really, really quickly. You get rules for terrain. Now you don't have to use these. These are simply, I would assume that if you want to use them, because everything in the advanced rules section is advanced rules. They don't have to be used. You can absolutely play the game without any of these.
You can just play like a regular pickup game with just the core. But if you want to have forests and you want to use those special rules, or ruins or craters or things like that, they're all here.
Yeah, it gives you a good starting point, and then you get and then there's a section kind of towards the back of it. I'll just show you just kind of random. So cities of death as an example, but you get
this is your different type of war zone.
Exactly. You get a few page spreads for how to do attacker defender games, how to do cities of death games, how to do planet strike games, how to do games that are focused on aerial combat, optional rules for doing multiplayer when you play those games where you're like, what if there's 3 of us, or what if there's 4? You get that too, and then at the very and then and that's pretty much it. That takes you to the end of the book.
Yeah, and then we get the appendices that he was talking about. This is where this is that type 0.2 legal font you were talking about.
Yep. And I would just like.
And we talk about hidden gems all over here.
Oh yeah, right there. Abhumans.
What are those?
You want to know what who the abhumans have? Squats.
They're in there. And then of course, very last page of the book, I believe. That's the index I was talking about. That's where you get the little like, hey, I want to look at what a character is. Oh, character C, boom. They're on page whatever.
Yep.
120.
That's the difference between an index and an appendix.
Now you know.
That's
that's pretty much all we're going to show off for this book.
Yep. That takes you through it. That is Warhammer 40,000, new 8th edition rulebook. It is available.
Well, when it's out.
Now. Yeah.
It'll be out officially June 17th with the Dark Imperium box set. This is the book that is in the box set too.
Yes.
And again, like we said earlier, don't know the future plans for sure, but I'd be willing to put money on that this is going to be its own standalone product eventually at some
Yes.
point.
I would
But if you want to get it, make sure you get your copy in the Dark Imperium box set too. So, but it's hardcover, 128 pages, good times.
Love it.
Yep. I'm AdamHarry from BoLS.
And I'm Larry Vela.
Thanks for watching.
Have a great one, guys.